Spring tends to come early in the Texas Hill Country, and it quickly barrels right into summertime. Here we are in April, and we have ordered some queens from Beeville. The queens are in, and we're going to start putting them into some of our colonies. And they would prefer not to be in their cages. I certainly don't blame them. The cages are really cool for shipping since they keep them separated, and they just kind of pop right out. There are two release mechanisms here. Right here is a candy plug or maybe marshmallow, and the idea here is that the bees can make the release happen on their own terms and at their own timing. So the bees in the hive can chew from the outside in, and the bees on the inside can chew from the inside out and release the queen that way. Or you can take a hive tool or a pocket knife or something and just pull out this plug to release the queen. Meanwhile, the captive queen and her attendants are able to use those candy plugs for their carbs. Today we're going to take you down to Kendall County. I say we, actually it's me. I'm going to take you down to Kendall County, and we're going to check out the queens in two separate boxes that until about a month ago were one very tall 6-box colony of bees. 6 boxes is a bit too tall for me to handle, so we split them into 2 separate colonies of 3 boxes each for now, and the donor colony kept the queen bee. The split out colony received one of the bees from Beeville, so we're going to see how they're doing. A lot of people like to requeen every spring. They just replace all of their queen bees in the springtime, but this queen was doing particularly well, so I thought we should definitely keep her and just watch and make sure that she's still doing a good job as we move into the summer. There's lots of brood, but they're not in the brood box, which is down there. They're scattered all over the place. So I did give them a queen excluder, but I want to make sure that the queen is down there in the brood box and not still running around in the honey supers. And this is our new queen, the box with the new queen that we just installed last week. I want to see if she's out of her shipping cage or if she needs a little bit of help to get out of there. And you can see it's just kind of a peaceful scene here. Sun's breaking through. So let's dig in and see what we find. And this is what I was hoping to see. Look at all that gorgeous nectar. This was not present when I was here last week. That's why I brought all the sugar water for them, but with this nectar I am not going to dilute it with the sugar water. So just going to dig down now and find that queen, and her frame will be marked 1 level down. Alrighty. The queen is right down there. Right down there. Or at least that's where she was when I left her in her shipping cage. Well, let's see. Alright, I kind of bumped a little bit. So the bees are unhappy with me. I'm also thinking that she may still be in the cage because they're so flighty. Now, alright, they've got the cage open. They've eaten all of the fondant. So that means that they released the queen. She's in there. But I think it's a very good sign that they've released her. I gave them just a little bit more smoke and they've completely settled down. I have not found the queen. I don't see any eggs, but I only looked at 1, 2, 3, 4 frames, and they're in the super. So chances are she is down there in the brood box laying away, and I'm not going to disturb her or the bees any further. We'll just close things up and leave them alone for a couple of weeks and check back in later just to make sure that we have brood in there and to see how they're doing in their honey production. Now my goal for this colony is to make sure that the queen is down there in the brood box and not still rambling around and laying eggs in the honey supers. Again, lovely, lovely nectar. So these girls are making honey. And here in the honey super is some absolutely gorgeous capped brood. This, however, is capped brood. And if she's down in the brood box, she'll be laying new eggs. So I'm not too concerned about this. They were building this out when I was here last week. I'll take it out, take a look, see if there are any young larvae or eggs in there. And if not, maybe we're okay, but I will have to keep on looking. To be very, very careful, because there is a decent chance that the queen is not only up here, but busily laying up here. So I want to make sure that I don't injure her. Some of that same young larva. No queen, at least not that I can see. So we'll leave this inside the hive. And check here, that's very old capped brood. Most of us already hatched. Do we see the queen? Well, I do not. The bees are quite calm, despite all my intrusions, which is a very good sign that they do have a queen and that they're happy with her. Well, who wouldn't be happy with this lovely, fabulous queen? Truly. And once again, be as careful as I can. Lifting this out. It is very heavy, but it is heavy, I think, with nectar. I'm going to put the phone down so I can really look in here. No, that is not the queen. Very often, the fastest moving animal on the frame is either a hive beetle, easily identified, or a queen bee who likes to blend in. All right, I'm going to put this down and give it a very careful inspection. All right, so there's our queen. She does blend in fairly well. And she is not where she belongs. In fact, she's in kind of a precarious spot. So I'm going to put her right back into this super and go get a queen catcher, because I don't want to squish her, and take her out for a bit while I do some rearranging. Walked back to the car, and I got a queen clip. Now, this is a nice place for just very temporary storage of your queen, and it's also not an infallible prison for her. She might be able to get out. Here we go. I'm going to get back down into these honey supers, try to find her again, and catch her in the clip. Okay, the bees know that things are not as they were a minute ago. I did catch her in the clip on the exact same frame that she was on earlier. So you can see her in there. I'm going to lay her on top right here. Now, if she should get out, what she'll do is probably go straight back down into the box. And as you can see, she's trying to work her way out. They're all checking on her to make sure that Mama's fine. Yes, Mama's fine, thank God. Yes. So what I'm going to do, just take both of these boxes, store them down there momentarily and put her down here in the brood box where, in my mind, she belongs. She is strong-headed. Yes, she is. So now I've just transferred her from this box where she was to the next super, which is now coming off, and I'll just stack it on top of that. And then, if all goes well, shake her down into the brood box. Here we go with that. Oh, joy, 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 joy. Righty. And here we are. Queen is still there. You see her right there on the edge. She's just moving in. And what we're going to do is open her up. These are very unhappy. I think she went down. Well, I wasn't really 100% sure that that queen was down in the brood box until I watched the video on super slow motion. And there I saw the queen at about the center frame. And the next glimpse shows her teetering on the edge between two frames. And then finally we see just her tail go down between two frames into the brood box. Thank goodness. Success. And put this colony back together and back at peace with itself. And 99.9% sure that Mama is at home where she belongs, and she ought to be just as happy as can be down there with all of her offspring taking care of her. So we'll just go back together in the order, reverse order of taking it apart and being very thankful that it looks like this little process worked just fine. Whoops. Move on out, sister. There you go. Good girl. Since this particular video had a whole lot of loud buzzing and tense moments, I thought people might just appreciate enjoying the beauty of the bees in the flowering quince. But then I realized that two bees were fighting over the same flower. There are hundreds of flowers, but these two bees are almost at fisticuffs with each other over one flower. Peace, my brothers and sisters. I leave you with the words of my favorite person. Give, and you will receive. Your gift will return to you in full, pressed down, shaken together to make room for more, running over, and poured into your lap. The amount you give will determine the amount you receive. God bless you, everyone.